Anyone can appreciate a good mystery, but what happens if a mystery never has the Scooby-Doo-style reveal of the guilty party? The ensuing unsolved police cases are bizarre, unsettling, and frustratingly unresolved. They are some of the age's most puzzling unsolved puzzles. Welcome to Main Culprit. Today we're going to be talking about 5 unsolved police cases. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Number 1. The Tara Calico case. It seemed like a perfect day to ride a bike on September 20th, 1988 in Belen, New Mexico. Tara Calico borrowed her mother's pink bike for a ride. She was an outgoing and active person who worked as a bank teller and was studying to be a psychologist or psychiatrist. She had planned to play tennis that afternoon. She asked her mother to drive out after her just in case she got a flat tire and didn't return home by noon. She never returned. Every lead led nowhere until a year later, when a photo of a young woman her age and a missing boy, both dead, was discovered. The Polaroid picture was discovered in Florida, in a parking lot of a junior food store. In April 1988, while out turkey hunting with his father in the same region as Calico, 9-year-old Michael Henley vanished. The girl was lying next to a book by Calico's favorite author, V.C. Andrews, which appeared to be in the back of a van. The girl in the picture had a scar that was the same as Calico's, which led Tara's mother to initially doubt that it was her daughter. But despite this, many specialists reject the picture because there isn't any supporting proof. The discovery of Michael Henley's body in the Zuni Mountains in 1990, where he was hunting, clearly refutes the claim that the two were kidnapped and sent to Florida. Eventually, Calico's parents would pass away without ever learning who had taken their daughter. Number 2. The Boy in the Box. A hunter in Philadelphia discovered a boy's battered body inside a J.C. Penney box in the year 1957. The youngster, who was between the ages of 4 and 6, was naked and covered in flannel. He seems to have passed away from head trauma. The hunter chose not to report the body out of concern that the police would seize his muskrat traps. When a college student discovered the body 2 days later, the authorities only then began to look into the case of America's unknown child. The media picked it up right away, and Pennsylvanians saw the boy's flyers all across the state. Police were never able to identify the young kid despite receiving thousands of leads. All their efforts to follow the J.C. Penney box's history and examining the boy's fingerprints failed. There were 2 noteworthy promising leads, though. One lead concerned a foster home that was a mile away. A medical examiner who worked on the case until his passing followed a psychic's guidance to the foster home, where he discovered a bassinet that matched the one advertised in the package. There were blankets similar to the one the boy was wrapped in hanging on the clothesline. He thought the mother of the youngster, the stepdaughter of the man who operated the institution, didn't want to be known for having a child out of wedlock. Despite speaking with the couple, police ended their inquiry. When they spoke with a woman going by the name M in 2003, who said that her violent mother had adopted the child in 1954, they reopened the case. She claimed that her mother killed the boy out of anger. The investigation was ultimately ended due to M's mental instability. Therefore, the boy continued to be known as America's unknown child. Number 3. The Zodiac Killer. Most criminals keep their misdeeds hidden, but Zodiac, as he called himself, was anything but. He frightened San Francisco between 1968 and 1969 with his murderous rampage, while poking fun at the police in his scrambled letters to the local paper. While he claims to have killed 37 people, at least 5 murders have been directly linked to him. David Arthur Faraday, 17, and Betty Lou Jensen, 16, were discovered laying outside of their automobile after being shot. Jensen was found dead at the scene with 5 gunshot wounds to her back, while Faraday died of a bullet to the head en route to the hospital. Half a year later, a couple who parked their car 4 miles away from that crime scene was also gunned down, 1 injured and 1 killed. The survivor, Michael Macho, was able to give a description of the killer. He described a heavyset white man around 5'8". It would be the Zodiac Killer himself that would give the police the remaining evidence. That same night at 12:48 in the a.m., police got an odd call. I wish to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east in Columbus Parkway to a public park, you will find the kids in a brown car. They have been shot with a 9mm Ruger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye. Newspapers got the first letter from the Zodiac Killer a month later. He threatened to go on a murdering spree unless they put the letter on the top page. The letter detailed the killings, which were all marked with enigmatic ciphers that appeared to constitute a code. This was a recurring subject in the additional letters he would write, each of which was signed with the symbol of 2 crossed circles. A high school teacher and his wife were able to decipher one of these letters. It said, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. It gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I'll be reborn in paradise, and all that I have killed will become my slave. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collection of slave for my afterlife." The Zodiac Killer would continue to murder people and leave the police with maddening evidence. Coded letters, anonymous phone calls, the cross-circle writing on victims' automobiles, blood-stained clothing, and testimonies from survivors. Unfortunately, they never managed to find him. Number 4. The Tamam Shud case. There were other people who liked using codes besides the Zodiac Killer. In Adelaide, Australia, on the morning of December 1st, 1948, a body was discovered on Somerton Beach. There were no visible wounds on the man's body, which was in great shape. He was well dressed, although all the labels on his clothes were missing. A never-to-be-used train ticket to Henley Beach was in his pocket. They wouldn't discover any luggage connected to him at Adelaide Railroad Station for another month. Labels on the clothes and the clothes items inside it were removed. Sadly, it provided no answers, much like his autopsy, which revealed no evidence of a foreign substance in his body that might have provided a direct link between poisoning and his death. The most convincing but perplexing evidence was discovered a month later in a hidden pocket of the man's pants. The word was Tamam Shud. They concluded that it meant ended or finished, which can be found in a collection of poems entitled The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Immediately, police ran a nationwide search for the book where this scrap paper was torn from. A man came forward, claiming that he found the book in the backseat of his unlocked car a week or 2 before they discovered the body. On the back of it was a strange code scrawled out in pencil. A nurse's phone number was also found. However, the nurse claimed to have delivered a copy of the Rubaiyat to an army officer by the name of Alfred Boxall. The nurse and the man who discovered the book both said they had no link to the deceased. Although many believe it might have been a suicide given the book's premise of having no regrets when life ends, they never pursue the case further. Some believe he could be a spy. His grave will continue to bear the inscription, "Here sleeps the unknown guy who was found at Somerton Beach on December 1st, 1948, until the case is resolved." Number 5. The Severed Feet Mystery. A girl found a shoe in 2007 while exploring a beach in British Columbia. To her horror, as she opened up the sock, she found that a human foot was inside. Since then, a number of severed feet have washed ashore. 5 men, 1 woman, and 3 people of unknown sex have had their feet linked to them. The matter has never been fully resolved, and there are numerous ideas as to who the feet belong to, with occasional hoax feet being tossed in. In 2008, the Vancouver police were able to locate one foot by comparing its DNA to that of a man who had been described as suicidal. Later, they were successful in connecting a pair of feet to a woman who is similarly thought to have committed suicide. Many believe that the feet belonged to those who leaped off a bridge to their deaths as a result of these findings. However, others suspect that the feet were connected to a plane crash on a nearby island because only feet and no other body parts were discovered, which is unusual. Others suggest they were those of the victims of the Asian tsunami in 2004, since the make of the shoes were all manufactured before 2004. Regardless of their origins, these feet left the world baffled for years. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Let us know how you feel about these cases in the comments.